I'm going to create a $100,000 commercial in the next 24 hours. These are the products, and this is my budget. It's empty. Last challenge was free for all.
Could I do that? Let's find out. Can I make high quality animation in 8 hours? So the rules are very simple. Number 1, create a high quality product animation in 8 hours, or equivalent of a working day in a studio. The rule number 2 is to create finished animation, which means I have to do the rendering it and also compositing afterwards. Rule number 3 is to use a product that I have already modeled before, and in this case I will be using this wallet model that I used in my Photoshop AI video. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. I actually was surprised by the result. And in this video we will do a product animation for this wallet. So what is my incentive doing this video? First of all, I was very much inspired by Smeaf's video where he went and did like the product animation from scratch in 24 hours. I am not that skilled, but I would like to improve my animation skills, so I think this is a great way to do it with like a time constraint. Well, let's see what comes out of this. Morning everyone, it is 10 a.m. here in UK. We're gonna put 8 hours on a clock, so by 6 p.m. we are supposed to have a fully fledged animation. Let's just start. Step 1. Finding a reference. I start this project by finding a reference animation that I can take as a base and analyze. I will analyze what shots I will need for my animation and plan other deliverables. As it is a luxury wallet animation, I really want to emphasize its material qualities. I want it to look sophisticated and engaging. I have spent about 15-20 minutes looking for some references that I can analyze a little bit more, just so I can actually start planning the shots. I have saved a little like a mood board of ads that I find could be quite good to look at, what shots they are using, what motion they are using, so I will now have a look at that. For instance, there is this advert that I find quite interesting. Some of the shots that I found is about like the light, like sort of gliding on the top of the object. The example has quite shiny surface, so it might not work that well. It's gonna take me at least half an hour to plan out and analyze the shots that I want to use, write down a few points that I want to do, and then start storyboarding it. This ad is actually something I really like. I think like the shots are quite nice, the making the circle, which I don't know how to do, so we will learn in next couple of hours. The shot switch is quite good in this one. It's quite dynamic looking animation. This type of commercial animation is about 10 to 15 seconds long, which doesn't sound as much, but the average shot is under 2 seconds. 1.2, 1.5 seconds long, about that. Let's do a quick math. So 12 divided by 1.5 is 8 shots. Now I'm going to do some storyboarding to see how I can lay out these 8 shots, what I should start with, where and how we are moving forward, and then we are gonna open Blender and let's just start animating this. With that in mind, I moved on to storyboard the shots. These are very simple, crude sketches of each shot to understand the flow between the shots and also to understand what the key shot of these animations should be. In Design Studio, you might need to consult with these sketches with someone else, but in my case, I just needed to have a planned out sequence of the animation. I did a quick storyboard trying to understand what is going to be the sequence of the shots. I am a bit worried that I might not be able to do this, but we're gonna give our best shot in this. Some shots are simpler than the others, like for instance I'm starting with just a light sliding and it's being on a mirror surface. Then I move to like rotating into the shot. We're gonna do the one that slides across the surface of the wallet to see the material quality of the leather, and then probably just like little rotation on the mirror surface with strong like amber ambient light almost. Then just a focus in shot of that turn, like where it slows down a little bit, and then I really like the reference from the ads that I just looked at, where it's the phone cases turned into like this grid and the middle one lifts up. I want to finish with like just a clean one wallet, and maybe we'll finish it with the Mulberry logo at the end. This is the plan. Let's see how it goes. I am aiming to do 12 seconds, 8 shots. Also, every ad has a sound, so I'm gonna now go on Pixabay and Mixkit and try to find something that sounds sophisticated, you know, those orchestra type music that I could use in this ad. See how I can align it with the shots as well. So now I'm gonna look for music for hopefully 10 minutes or so, not longer than that, and we're gonna open Blender and we are gonna start modeling this. With planned shots in mind, now I need to also find some music track that would work with this animation. As it is a luxury product, I thought it would need some quite sophisticated soundtrack. So I went on a Pixabay and Mixkit where I was searching for these type of soundtracks. I found 2 soundtracks that could work for this type of animation, sounding a little bit more sophisticated. Those are gonna be linked in my description. I think it's time to open Blender and start working on these. With just under 7 hours left on the clock, it was time to start animating. I honestly didn't know what to expect with this. I have dabbled with keyframes beforehand and did some simple animations, but results were underwhelming beforehand. Luckily, I have stumbled across this video by Kaizen Tutorials. It blew my mind. I learned about multiple camera setup on the same timeline, camera focal points, and also how to use music to your advantage. I took those learnings and went to town with my animation project. As I started to set the scene 1, I realized that I am taking a lot of time to light the scene itself. I think that I am pretty good with lighting, but my workflow hasn't been streamlined enough to achieve the result in a short amount of time. So I decided to just power through all the animation scenes first and then come back to lighting them. I got stuck on the scene 3, the fanning out frame. I just couldn't understand how to keyframe the objects that they appear only in certain frames. So I just scrapped the whole thing after messing with it for half an hour and losing the precious time. I continued to power through all the scenes and I was almost finished with setting out the animations. So, just a quick update. I have been working through the shots and I just lost 2 shots because Blender crashed. So, I am at pretty much 3-hour remaining mark, so that's gonna be fun. I will just hope that it renders fast enough. That's my only hope at the moment. It is 240 frames because it is 10-second animation, so let's hope that I can get it done in next 3 hours. Oh god, this was another reminder to keep pressing save on your files, as autosave seems to not work that well in Blender 4.0. So I redid those frames, and once I was done with setting all the animations and very crudely lighting them, I very quickly set up render settings and started to render with 1 hour and 30 minutes left. I have relatively high success rate of rendering my previous animations in time, but usually it involved the overnight rendering, which allowed extra 8 hours of rendering. I recently looked at cycles rendering settings and how to increase the speed for even darker scenes. If you haven't checked that video out, go and check it out. I'm glad I did this exploration as it helped me to reduce the render time tremendously. But even with this hack under my belt, at this point I realized that I have failed to get the animation done on time. If you have got to this stage in the video, you realize that I failed to create an animation in 8 hours. I didn't even get to the compositing part of it because the rendering did take 3 hours as I thought it would be initially. Even when I got the frame rendering time to a minute per frame. I definitely learned from this experience. It was stressful. Hands down, it was a stressful experience, but this is something you would be up against in a real time. Working in a design studio or even working as a freelancer is important to time your work. And working in design studio, sometimes you get really tight deadlines, and when you see like in a job description, meeting tight deadlines is essential, that's pretty much what they mean. They sometimes give you 2-3 days for a brief to come up with the whole outcome. You should try to improve it as much as you can. I want to continue upskilling my animation skills because they are not up to scratch at the moment. Also working out a better process for lighting scenes, even though like I think I have a good understanding of lighting products. I still don't have streamlined process for it, which I want to develop through these challenges. And I definitely want to continue doing these challenges because I think it's very good practice to put yourself under like a time constraint and coming up with something. And most of the time, if you want this to be your job, it's gonna be like that. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these ways me torturing myself in some way or another. Leave a comment if you want to see something very specifically that I challenge myself to do in a certain time frame. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!